So we have here now a couple, Douglas and Grazi, who have a very interesting story to share with us, and we're going to talk to them. So thanks for coming to the Love Talk Show. Okay, hi to you.
Hello.
So how long have you been married?
We've been married for 14 years.
14 years, right? Just for us to get an understanding, how did you come to meet one another?
That is an interesting part. Yes, because the first time I met him, it was really shocking because my husband came from a very difficult moment in his life. He was using drugs and he was coming out of that. So when I met him, he was, how can I say, I felt pity on him because he was so dirty and all with his clothes all baggy, and I was like, oh, poor him. But I greeted him and so on, and later he started to change, and we became friends, just friends, right?
It's interesting because it was like a shocking encounter like this, and being so different. I can assume that you were nothing like that, never imagined.
No, it was a big turn off there and then.
But it was the change that you saw, the positive change that you saw in Douglas that started to get your attention, right?
Yes, we became very, very close friends because in that time I had a relationship and he had a relationship with someone else. So there was no chance between us, right?
Yeah, actually we used to talk a lot about our relationships, and I would always incentivize her to get married to her boyfriend then, and likewise, yeah. So there was no
any intention that time.
No, I saw him as a very close friend. He knew my family. He would come to have lunch with us on Sundays. It was just like and he was close friends with my brother. So I think we never imagined that we could come out of a friendship zone to
a romantic relationship, yeah.
And all of a sudden, what happened? How did it ended up become? How did you guys ended up tying the knot?
He played guitar. No, that was not it. But he did play the guitar, and I was a bit like, well, I'm looking at him differently now. What's going on? But that was not it. What was it?
Okay, well, we knew each other very well. I think that this is, if you want to be happy and successful in a relationship, you need to get to know your partner well before you guys make a decision to tie the knots, because imagine you're gonna spend, a lot of years together with that person, and because we knew each other very well.
Sorry to cut you off just a moment, because this is something interesting here. You focus, Douglas, correct me if I'm wrong, first in overcoming the drug addiction. Yeah. You could say you invested in yourself, correct, right? Before even thinking about anything. I know that at the beginning you were not even thinking about it, and you didn't also do anything towards him whilst he was still struggling with that problem, right? Which brings to an important point, Ana. You see, there are certain issues that need to be addressed, that need to be resolved even before a relationship starts. Because if people just assume that being in a relationship will take care of the issue, what will probably happen is that it's just going to be like trying to fight fire with gasoline, right? There has to be the self-investment first. For you to be in a relationship, first you have to be well with yourself. If you're not well with yourself, evidently, you will not be able to have a good relationship with someone else, right?
Yes, because it's going to bring a big and heavy package to the relationship, and then it's going to cause more problems.
And from dating to wedding, about how long?
A year and 4 months.
Which is a good time,
yeah,
right? Which is a good time. Actually, you mentioned something interesting, because even with a good dating period and everything, and as open as one can be in the relationship, by the time of the wedding, by the date of the wedding, you can say if you had very good communication, that you probably know about 20 to 25% of your partner. There's many things that will only really be discovered after the marriage, right? So you got married, in the difficulties in adapting, what can you talk about?
I think just before we get into it, talking about the marriage, just before we got married, when we were dating, Grazi and I used to work for the same company. She was the manager of a department, and I was working as a teacher in this company. Something happened, and we both got sacked, right? And then we were dating, and then we looked at each other and said, okay, what are we going to do now? And then I said, you know what? I've got potential, I've got talent, and so do you. So you know what? Let's pull together and let's start our own business. We did not have funding, we did not have money, we did have investors, people who believed in us. And we started from scratch. We started working, it wasn't easy, but then, you know, we started working, bringing customers to the business, and little by little we were growing. And why am I mentioning this? Why I think it's important? Because we both understood that when a couple pulls together, you know, you optimize your potential. A lot of people have this concept where, you know what, I need to work hard, invest in my career, invest in my expertise, in my skills, which is absolutely fine, but then they put the love life, you know, as last priority. And then what happens? Time goes by, and you are minimizing, your chances to find a suitable partner, not because of your age, but because you got involved with so many things in life that now, you know, due to the experiences that you faced in the past, you find yourself bitter, you find yourself traumatized by previous relationships, and you don't really want, as Ana said, to give love a go. And this is what we did not do. What we did the opposite. We invested in our love life first, and then together, Grazi and I optimized our talents, our potential, and then we were growing financially together.
And now let's talk about things that didn't work very well.
The difficulties.
Yes,
that's
right?
why he mentioned the
Spoke about
opening
a
the
positive
business.
thing, yeah.
Because we would stay the whole day together. We got married, and eventually, obviously, we were working in this company, so we would stay every day, all the time together. It was like we wouldn't have a bit of a space or break. And then obviously the adoption was pretty much more intense than other couples who have a bit of a distance and space. And I think that's when we had a bit of more
So you were
clashes.
husband and wife and business partner.
Yes.
How do you deal with that? Tell me.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult to separate and balance.
Yeah, because you need to learn how to separate things. Because, for example, in the house, she was my wife, but in the work, she was my manager. You know?
Not exactly your manager. I was the manager of all the employees.
Yeah.
And
But I was the employer.
Yes.
It
was difficult. It was really difficult because I came from a background that I am more, my family has this, how do you say? Thrive for business, and obviously my family is bigger. We are all communicative, and I don't know, he came from a very calm family. It's just him, his mom and his sister.
Yeah.
And he was the guy who would study really hard, and work as well, but not have the entrepreneur vision kind of thing. So I wanted him to be more proactive and more, you know.
Did it result in arguments at times? Did it, yeah? Talk a little bit about this. How did you feel?
No, as she said, you know, because she came from a different background. Because, you know, our background plays a very important part in our character. I came from a family which was very laid back. I did not have a father figure. So obviously I grew up and I did not have that drive, you know, to make things happen. And Grazi was the very opposite. But the good thing is, you see, this is another lesson that we get from relationship. Again, the optimization, because we came together, I was able to get it from her, and she was able to get something from me. And these, you know, really played a very important part in our lives.
In
because I started changing.
overcoming those difficulties.
Well, we had to pay 2 rents. It was not easy because we were newlyweds. So we had to pay the rent of the house, the utility bills, and it was crazy. Sometimes, you know, the money was very short. We would always have to budget the money. But we were together. And that was the most important thing. I remember one day, you know, there was a situation where, remember, we had there was a power cut because we did not pay the utility bill. The company came over. No, that's fine. It's good because people will relate to it, you know. And then they cut, you know, yeah. And then I said, oh God. And then I remember we sat down on the floor of our, you know, humble house. Yeah. We bought a pizza, and then we got some candles, and we ate pizza, and we were very happy. We were laughing because we knew we already had the money to pay the bill the next day. But you see, we did not fight against each other. We did not, you know, say, oh, why this is happening. No, we are growing together. We are learning our lessons. We made mistakes in our business, of course. You know, we made bad, terrible transactions, bad business, but we also made good business. But the best of all, we were happy, we were together.
He says that because we were stolen by someone. That's why he's saying that we made bad transactions.
But you see, they were able to overcome this hardships that, I know we're talking about specific situations, such as difficulty in business, you could not pay a bill, the service was cut, but how many couples in a moment like this, they turn against each other. They start to blame one another. They start to have, you know, to play the blame game. When actually, what intelligent love teaches is that you don't fight one another. You both team up and you fight against the problem, right? So people need to stop fighting each other and they need to fight against the problem, which is what they did.
Yeah, so many people, they give up in the relationship in the beginning, right? Because they want a partner a complete partner, and they just give up. Oh no, this doesn't work, so they go on to another relationship. Yes. They don't want to grow together.
Everyone wants the work done. It's much easier, right? But who wants to do the hard work? And happy marriages do take hard work. They are possible, but it's the beauty of allowing yourself to be influenced by someone and also influenced. So you needed that push. I know that in the beginning it's difficult for us to find the balance, right? And you needed to tone down a little bit. Have you found this balance today?
Yes, I'm much more like him now, more calm, more, you know, how do you say, centered. And now I'm so secure that he's gonna get it done that I'm just like,
no worried,
not stressed. Obviously, this had to, with time, isn't it? We had to adapt it with time.
Very good. I want to thank you both for coming, and it's plain to see, Ana, that they didn't just use feelings. Obviously, the feeling is there, but there are times in the relationship that you cannot go by feeling, because if you're just going to do what you feel, you end up going crazy or turning your partner, making him or her crazy. You have to use your mind. I know it's much easier said than done, but that's the right thing to do. That's why we talk about loving intelligently, loving with your mind, and the heart will follow. Yeah?
What's the decision, right? You wanted and you worked for that, so it happened. The marriage that you have today. Right?
Very good. Congratulations on you both. 14 years, yeah?
14 years.
Very,
congratulations.
Very good. And thanks for sharing your story, all right?
Thank you.
Very good.